I've always considered dowsing a complete pseudoscience, complete nonsense, but then I recently learned that two friends of mine actually do it for a hobby, one of which is an archaeologist. But I need science and logic in my life. That all being the case, why can we not understand today exactly why this happens? So I've managed to steal this field for the day. Now in this video then we're going to try and work out if dowsing works, if it doesn't work, what we can find with the rods and why, or if it is a complete load of old...
Hi, I'm Mark.
So I've assembled a crack team of individuals to help.
And these are my rods.
Hi, I'm Ellie, aka Miss Detectorist. Why am I here again?
Hi, I'm Headley. I fly these things and camp on mountains.
What a team! Let's go!
You need a big girthy thing like this, not your little ball.
That's mad! Point to the lightweights. Right, now we need to take a step back here. What exactly am I doing today? So dowsing is the act of finding stuff in the ground using these rods. I say stuff, but the most common thing is water. But people do suggest anything else, including things like Roman roads, lines, energy lines, pottery. So I want to know if dowsing is a thing. Does it work? Why? We've nicked a big old field and we're going to map all of the points the dowsing rods cross or move on that map. Now, is there any correlation with any metal detecting finds? Will we find any lines or any patterns? Let's try and understand the science here. The practice of dowsing is said to go back to ancient times, but very much frowned upon by the Catholic Church. The notion of it being supernatural meant it was very much not the done thing towards the late medieval, early modern. But then as we enter the age of enlightenment, the age of science, well, we then quickly jump back onto the dowsing train. Farmers to find water, the mining industry to find ore. We're now tolerating this. It just seems to be part of modern society. In fact, the 1800s see this very much as part of rural life. We now seem to be looking at practical folklore. Okay, let's see what we can find out in today's experiment in this
I think I've seen dowsing in the book.
Oh, you mean this week's sponsor?
Yep, the book.
Okay, so this week's sponsor is the book, and I love this. It's like a pictured encyclopedia, how to find water. So this book full of so many different things on how to start a civilization. So from into the modern era of technology, how to make soap, healing herbs, how to make printing press, dirigibles, aeroplanes, submarines, every little bit. It reminds me so much of this book. This is the actual book I had as a kid in 1980s. I used to love this. This is what I would class as the modern version. It's broadly appealing to so many different people because it covers so many different topics. Certainly for me, prehistory onwards, Roman roads, how to build a road, things like the modern industrial revolution, which include things like welding, measuring tools, you name it. This very much fits our channel because I'm getting so many snippets of information. There are so many aspects to this book, so many different things that you can learn from and take snippets of information and perhaps delve deeper if that's your thing. So really for me, this would act as a perfect gift for perhaps a niece, a nephew, a child, or somebody of an older age perhaps who would just like to sit and read and learn about all sorts of snippets. And it very much echoes this book I had in the 1980s as a kid, and I used to absolutely love it. I used to read it over and over. So yeah, click on the link below, pick up your copy of the book and its packaging and its wonderful sort of additional puzzles it comes with as well, little treasure hunts inside it, and use the discount code Whitewick10 to get your 10% discount. Okay, let's dig deep in this field. So I said we nicked a field from Mike the farmer, lovely gent. Now I'm not quite sure he knows exactly what we're doing with it. It's completely fine, Mike. Now I met with Mark probably a year ago and gave dowsing a go. I was a massive skeptic then, and I probably still am now, but I did feel the rods move. Yeah, they want to do the right hand side thing. They're not crossing, but they want to do that.
So can you? Oh, right, okay, that's good.
Repeatedly over what seemed to be the same line, the same spot, and since that point I've wanted to know why. Anyway, I said to you as we were walking away from the church, Mark, see that field next door to the church? Wouldn't it be good if we had that use of that whole field and we could just walk up and down and see if we could then find the bigger picture of this line that we kind of found through the church? 35 seconds in, Ellie's already digging.
So far, it's ammunition. But we just had this. Okay, it's another musket ball. But this is the biggest one you can find. And it comes from a Brown Bess musket, which I think is dated to, you'll have to double check this, I think it's dated to late 1700s, early 1800s.
Okay. There we are, right.
A little tingle in my hand there.
What does that mean, Mark? So we spent just under half a day here. Oh yeah, that's pulling. I've closed my eyes.
Look where you are.
Yep, you're in line. That's mad. and the results were really surprising. Now, before I reveal them, has anyone done this type of study before? Well, it turns out yes. In fact, one of the single most bizarre studies I found was that of a New Zealand one in 1947 by the University of Otago, forgive the pronunciation. Well, they conducted a study, quite a big one as well, to see if there was any positive correlation between the effects of the dowsers and what they were claiming to find. So they employed 75 diviners, all different shapes and sizes, genders, different locations that they came from, and different ideas on what they could find using their divining methods. Now, the results for them highlighted how random this was. Absolutely no positive correlation to be seen. So I placed a link for the study and a few others in the description below, and you can have a look at what these studies conclude, how they conclude it, and perhaps some of the scathing reviews of dowsing and its potential dangers.
That is so bizarre.
It pulls, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, so the initial results are in. Now, we were lacking in time here, so we surveyed an area towards the middle of the field. This field was a lot bigger than I first anticipated. 3 of us had a go, and we all seemingly found the rods moved on this particular line at various points. Sadly, no correlation with the metal detecting finds. Now, at this point, we had to leave, but for me, something didn't add up. I wanted more. Okay, so you can see the results that we got there. Now, those results, well, I was kind of confused about, because we did get a line, but we were almost felt like we were looking for that line. We didn't really have enough time. We didn't have time to kind of scour the whole field and pick the plots that we were going to do. So we came back. Now, today we had more time, so the plan was to walk as much of this as possible properly up and down, end to end. Now, my expectation based on the original line was that we would find loads more points and thus disprove that this was a line at all, just random dots we happened to survey. So here's what happened. Right, we're literally going to walk up and down the entire field a number of times. I'll take this half, the northern half, you take the southern half, and we will just literally walk up and down any time they move or cross or whatever. Yep. Completely cover this field.
Okay, so let's go.
I'll be brutally honest, I was fully expecting to come here and find this field littered with points where the dowsing rods cross, and therefore the line we found the other day would be completely null and void. It was just part of a much bigger, mess of points where these dowsing rods cross. For whatever reason, come to that shortly, but in fact I got the opposite result. And by that, I mean, I've got absolutely nothing, no left, no right, no crossover, not even on that original line that we had when we were here the other day. I can't get these rods to sort of cross or anything. So what exactly does that mean? Let's go find out how Rebecca's gone. Right, found Rebecca. Rebecca, do you wanna show me yours and I'll show you mine?
Oh, okay.
Right, dig deep.
Okay.
Right, okay. Let me see your map and I'll show you mine.
No way.
Right, cross. Yeah, I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I'm not even where Mark had his line. You haven't got anywhere Mark had his line either. Yours
well, yeah,
by the railway.
We didn't go that far, to be fair. We didn't go that far with Mark, where I was.
No, we didn't. No.
But yeah, we still would expect there to be a line.
Yeah, but there's nothing. I got literally nothing.
Yeah.
So the other day we had Ellie metal detecting, found some very random musket balls, no correlation whatsoever with the line that Mark found. It went up and down here. We can't repeat that today. We've been up and down this field like scores of times. In fact, Rebecca's still there in the distance trying to get some more results. On top of that, we have all of these studies which seem to debunk this all over the last 100 years. Well, with that in mind, why do the rods still cross at certain points? Okay, so for me, above all, this has been fun. We've had a good couple of days here larking around, seeing what we can find. Now, if we ask the question as to why people carry on doing this today, even though it's been debunked 100 times, well, the answer is, for me, I get it, I understand it, and I think Rebecca does too, because she's still doing it right now as we walk back towards the car. The farmer's told us there's a water pipe going perpendicular to this pathway, and he said, I'm not going to tell you where it is, see if you can find it. Challenge number 1. So, I guess the question again remains now is, why are those rods crossing over? Let's see if we can answer that. So I googled this, and the most common response was idiomotor effect. i.e. no matter how skeptic, you will make unconscious movements, even walking movements, posture, gradient, that could all have an effect on the physical outcome of the rods. And that kind of makes sense to me because when I use Mark's rods, they're a lot longer. So for me to say I felt a pull, well of course I did, because the moment they start moving, of course they feel like they're pulling because of the whole weight of the rod. And today I tried it, well the rods that I was using today were a heck of a lot shorter and I had no movement whatsoever. It's easy to debunk with scientific process, and with that in mind, let's debunk it right now in this final piece here, because Rebecca and I were just walking back in that direction on this pathway and the rods crossed at a specific point. So we've now walked back quite a way this way. I'm going to get Rebecca to close her eyes, turn around and walk in that direction. There's a specific spot that I've marked on the ground of where they crossed. So by rights now, that won't happen again at the same spot. You're doing grand. But again, you don't know where these rods should or should not cross. So yeah, what results will we get? Okay. Not what we expected. Go subscribe to Mark's channel, Ellie's channel, Headley's channel, all of the channels. And don't forget to check out the amazing offer from this week's sponsor, The Book.